How you doing, Knicks Nation? What's going on? This is Sincere from Sincere Knicks Fan 34. Thank you all once again for watching. I appreciate y'all. Let's continue to keep this thing moving as we're supposed to. Before we get officially started, just want to take some time out just to, say that our thoughts and prayers are with those who are out in Texas. We had our own experiences out this way in West Virginia. So, I can totally sympathize with those who have been impacted and affected by the storms and the floods. So, we definitely have our prayers out there with y'all. Our thoughts, our prayers are with you. And, we're going to try to do what we can do on our end to be as helpful as we can. All right. For those who have information of how to help those in Texas, put it in the comments, please. I'm about being able to be of help to others. All right. With that being said, the point of this video is the idea of my expectations of who is going to stand out in Summer League, at least for the first couple of games, if not throughout the whole Summer League. I hope to see that kind of consistency, whether it's one player or several. But off the rip, who I think is going to be the person that's going to really stand out in the Summer League is Tyler Kolek. And the reason why I say Tyler Kolek is because for the most part, he's going to be our starting point guard for that team throughout the Summer League. So he's going to have the ball in his hands for the most part. He's going to be able to hopefully control and manage the team on and off the floor. He's going to be that floor general. He's going to be the orchestrator, and he's used to being in that position. So I expect him to really be a standout in this Summer League. Last year he was a rookie. I expect him to be able to take on more of a leadership role in that capacity. But for the fact the ball actually will be in his hands for the most part, I expect him to be the one who actually stands out the most. Who I think would be someone who comes out next might shock you, but who I think would be the next one up actually would be Dadier. I think Dadier, is going to be someone who's going to have an extra chip on his shoulder. He's going to want to demonstrate that he can actually play in this league. So I can see him being a person who is going to step up and try to show even more of an offensive repertoire. I see him being someone who is going to put effort on the defensive end, but he's really, in my opinion, he's going to try to promote what he has developed while he was away on the G League. So I'm expecting him to have a really good Summer League showing, at least in the next couple of days, if not the entire Summer League. I'm expecting more consistency and more efficiency, shooting threes, maybe even developing a mid-range game. I can see him doing that in his time that he spent in the G League and whatever amount of time he has been with the actual club. I would expect him to be able to showcase those skills and demonstrate that growth. After him, I would say Kevin McCullough. Kevin McCullough, I'm expecting out of him energy. I know that might sound crazy. I'm expecting him to bring energy. On the defensive end, on the offensive end, I'm expecting him to just absolutely try to erupt in this Summer League. He's gonna have to and need to stand out, because the idea is he himself was drafted to play for a different coach in a different system. And if he wants to play on this New York Knicks team, he has to demonstrate that he can still play for Mike Brown. And that's not necessarily an easy thing. There's a great number of players that have skills, athleticism, and size. And to be honest with you, youth. So he's going to want to have to come out there and really ball. He's going to have to truly come out. He's going to have to truly come out and put out his best effort. And I think for the fact that he's already an effort person, I think that he's going to overachieve. And that extra energy, whether you want to call it nervous energy, anxiety, whatever you want to call it, I call it, just having a realization that this is your strength, let's use it. You know what I'm saying? I think he's going to go out there, and I think he's going to turn up an entirely different level, turn it up to a completely different level, and it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be a thing where he has to have a big scoring punch, but I think just being able to put his effort on the defensive end to truly show why he was considered the second best defender outside of Ryan Dunn, why he was considered the second best defender in his class. I think that he'd be able to stand on that and be able to put the clamps down on a lot of people, prospective NBA players, international players. I think he can put that kind of energy out there. Whether his shots drop it or not, he will be able to come in and put a stamp on the game without necessarily scoring any points. This would be a way of him being able to do that. It's showing his energy. So he's somebody who I would think would be able to step up and step out and be able to stand out amongst all these other small forwards and shooting guards, all these wings. Diawara, I know he's going to step his game up defensively. I know he's going to try to step up, but I don't expect him to be above and beyond anybody else. I think it does help him if he does put his best effort on the defensive end. There's a lot of question marks from a lot of scouts about his shooting and his scoring consistency. So that may be something that he may not necessarily be able to showcase off the rip. But if he's able to demonstrate his ability to put some defense on some players, right? Just be able to just lock it up, put the lid on the rim, that would be an amazing thing to be able to do. And I think for him, my expectation is not for him to stand out, but I do have the expectation for him to show flashes. I think that he'll be able to do that. There are some people that consider Diawara someone along the lines of, what's the young man's name? He's played for Toronto. I have his face in my head right now. Siakam. There are a lot of people who believe that he is essentially the second coming of Siakam. And I don't want to say the guy's not, defensively. I don't know yet about offensively. He has similar size. He has a similar wingspan. He is very athletic, but we'll see. But as it stands in terms of my expectations, in terms of will he be able to stand out, Summer League as a standout, I don't know. But that is something that's going to be helpful for him, being able to stand out as a defensive nightmare, right? Because that's something he was able to put his hat on in the international scene. Can he do that at the NBA level in the Summer League? That will be something that will help him out tremendously. Those guys so far are the guys who I have in terms of expectations. People who I believe are on the bubble, in terms of expectations to show out. James Nagy. I think he has the potential. I don't want him. Knicks Nate, don't hate the messenger, man. Don't hate the messenger. I truly believe he can be somebody who can step up and make teams scared. Like, they can be afraid when they try to come into the paint. Even just trying to come into the paint. They're like, I don't know, is he here? Somebody help me, please. Did you see him? Right? With the wingspan, his athleticism, he can also be someone who can stand out. I just don't have the expectation that he's going to stand out. But I am excited about Najee and Diawara. Those guys I am excited about. Who I'm also excited about is Dink Pate. And I would like to see how Diawara and Dadier, how they click, because apparently they're like best friends apparently. So a number of players say that, a lot of people say that players who have really strong relationships, that they play better when they play with each other. So to see even how that dynamic might unravel, what I'm saying, that could be interesting in itself. But James Nagy, Dink Pate, Diawara, those are the guys who I think, as it stands now, that I don't really have high expectations of. I am excited for them. I can't wait to see what they bring. I love to see what they bring. I can't wait for tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I hope they prove me wrong. I hope that they actually make it tough for these coaches to be like, yo, this guy needs to be on the team. I really do. I really do. To the point where they may even second guess what they need to sign a free agent. I would love to have that kind of problems, right? I said that before. It's like there's gonna be problems, right? But these are good problems, right? But these are the guys who I think, in terms of expectations, are going to be there, and they're going to have an opportunity to show out, really truly show out, and make people excited, even more excited, come tomorrow on Friday. I think it'll be an amazing situation. I think in the games coming up, to be able to see how players grow from game to game, what they've learned, and how they have been able to execute, and how they've been able to handle whatever obstacles or even stretches of success. How do they handle that? And how do they still incorporate the team aspect as well as their individual? So those are things that we can all be excited about as Knick Nation. As I said, I'm excited. I'm sure you can feel it and see it in me. You know what I'm saying? Oh, can't wait. Oh man, right? Oh, we're gonna talk about it. After the summer league on Friday, we're gonna talk about this, right? So buckle up, all right? So just want to let you know. But those are my expectations in terms of who I'm looking at for summer league to really stand out. But we'll talk more about that, as I said, after the Friday game. But just wanted to give you an understanding of what I'm looking at and what I expect out of these upcoming players. All right? If you haven't, please subscribe. Please continue sharing. Please continue to like. You know what I'm saying? I love to comment with people. We can chop it up for real, okay? So we can make this thing happen. All right? But until next time, let's get it. All right? Love y'all. Have a good one.